Jackie Baker.
And Sylvester.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, recovering.
Yeah. You and everybody else.
Yep. Something happened in the country this week. I don't know. I heard a buzz on TV, something about an election.
Something about that. Yeah.
Oh, it'll all come out in the wash, I guess. I don't know. I got, you get busy life and everything else. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, why is that guy
whatever
running down the street? Hold on. People are getting a little crazy, but life goes on, like paying bills and grocery shopping and college hunting, which is just so much fun.
Fun.
And you know what else goes on and on and on and on?
Tell me.
Reddit real estate disasters. Oh, Jackie.
Hi, Jen.
Jackie. So before we dig into all of our usual stuff, we had talked a little bit before we jumped on the podcast here. I wanted to just do a little PSA, and we're filming this. This is what is today? Feels like
today's November 7th. Yeah,
yep.
Today's just November 7th.
Like it's been a week after the election. And it's been stressful, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the country. There's a lot of disappointed people. There's a lot of angry people. And I would just say that no matter what side of the fence you're on, what side of the table you're on, how you voted, I would urge you to seek to understand before passing judgment, because I think that the story on the surface is not seldom is the full story of why someone does what they do, what the backstory is. You know how it goes, right? There's three sides to every story.
Yes.
There's your story, their story, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
And I think that we see right now, and you know what? You're disappointed. You have every cry, and work it out and feel and all the things. You work through it, but don't judge your neighbor. Don't be mean to your neighbor just because they did things differently than you did it, or they see things differently than you see them. Instead,
amen, Jen.
Just ask them why, and then respect their answer, because everybody's on their own walk. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
So that's my little PSA.
That's a good PSA. Thank you for putting that out there. I so agree with you. We all need to come back together and just
be kind.
Just be kind, and
instead of mean and judgmental and all the things, and talking doesn't mean you have to be on the same page. It doesn't mean that everybody has to agree.
Right.
But you can coexist. We can coexist and be totally different. We're all just humans. We all bleed. We're all just trying to make a living, pay the bills, and find happiness along the way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Happiness and taking pleasure in people's Reddit disasters. Oh my goodness!
Here we go. She's got the stream deck going. I love it. Here we go. You got her sound effects.
You got some good stories cooked up.
I got some pretty good ones.
Desperately need some comic relief right now. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see.
Little levity. Of.
Little levity.
In the way of maybe giggling at somebody's bad fortune. That's terrible to say, but
I don't know about that, Jen. Let's not.
I'm not mean, but sometimes some of these decisions people make and put on Reddit are kind of silly.
They are, but the stories I found today, there were some pretty interesting ones. This first one, we gotta get into this because tell me what you would do about this. All right. It's a quick story, but here we go. So the title is 2 years after buying my house, I find these. Get ready.
Hold on.
Moved in.
Oh.
What? Here we go. Here we go.
The button.
That's okay. I was waiting for it. Thanks for delivering, Jen.
Sorry about that.
Good job. Good job. Okay. I moved into the house over 2 years ago. Between work and life, I haven't had the chance to clear the overgrown vegetation from the house being vacant. 2 days into working, I found 2 human headstones. One from 1880 and the other from 1941. I also found about a half dozen rocks arranged like they could be makeshift headstones in the same area.
Hold on.
Normally. I know, we should have done this last week. The hell. Normally I would leave them where I found them, but they're in what will be the front yard. Any advice or proper actions to pursue further into these stones?
Good grief. I would love to know where they live.
I know. I know.
Because like if you're here in Massachusetts, I mean, that could be like an Indian burial ground or something like, I mean, that kind of stuff happens. Not commonly, but it does happen where all of a sudden it's like you have usually it's a more open space, but not necessarily. It could be a sacred burial ground or just a burial ground or maybe like, I don't know.
Yeah, so, I don't. But the 2 headstones wasn't. But I mean, back in the day, didn't they used to bury family members on their property?
Yep.
I mean, the 2 headstones, one from 1880, 1941. Yeah, that's probably what's going on there. But
1941 is recent.
It is, but why wouldn't anybody disclose that?
So here's what I would be curious though. You have the headstones. You have 2 skeletons, which may or may not be legit. They could have come out of a science lab. Who the heck knows? Kids in the 60s put them there or something. What I want to know is like, what was on the headstones? I wonder, we can't automatically assume that the headstones are what are human. They could be pets.
Yeah.
People bury their pets all the time in the backyard.
Yeah. I know. I know.
So
I'm looking at the rest of the comments here. They didn't add to it, but somebody said that there's a lot of old farms and homesteads in New York with legit burial sites on the property. 200 years ago, you often buried family close by.
Yep.
So it could very, very much well be that. Somebody else says, I live in rural Western New York, and a few old farmhouses near my house have small old cemeteries on the property. So here's the thing. What do you do with that now? You discover this, you move into the house and you discover these headstones, and then these other stones where it looks like a cemetery, like that, which would be, she said, it's going to be their front yard. What do you do with that?
Okay. So what I would do is I would head right down to the historic district, the department, if there's a department at town hall or within your community, if you have a historical, I can't find my words here, Jackie.
Historical society.
Thank you. Society. I couldn't find that word. Yay, menopause is awesome. I would check with the historical society first and foremost, period. Find out what the history is on that lot, what the family history is, who's lived there, what that, once you find out who, I would do some history. You know what I mean? Do some archiving and find out what you can. It might be of historical significance. It might not be. And then
But then what do you do if you want to?
I would get directions to town, and then and find out. I mean, if it's just like pets or something, but if it's a human, skeletal remains, I would think you would want to check with the town to make sure that it was exhumed properly, you know,
So
and
you
just
would exhume it. You would try to get them exhumed, like if
I
nobody.
personally wouldn't be able to live in a house that had that. Like right outside, like in my yard, I would be
Uh-huh.
so uncomfortable. I'd be freaked out. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
me
able.
too.
I couldn't do it.
Me
I mean,
too.
like I said, if it's like a family plot and you're living, you have a big acreage, and it's up on the hill, and you buying the house, and it's like that that's there. That comes with the property. It's part of the deed. You
Yeah.
won't disturb it. All the things. That's different. But
Yep.
just two random headstones buried under a bunch of brush, forgotten about. I don't know about that. But I definitely find out before you do anything. I definitely find out to see if it's of any historical significance
Yeah.
first,
Yep.
and then get
Thank.
direction from the historical society on what you should
Yeah.
do.
Yep. That's a good idea. Thank
Yep.
you for that. Because I was like, I read that. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be in my yard. Yeah, I
Mine
was like, I'm
either.
not.
My house was
I'm
built in
not doing.
1971. That's not happening. We
But
do
it.
have we have small pets. We have some like hamsters, buried in the backyard. That's about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
In our little
Same.
hamster cemetery.
Your
But
hamster cemetery. Yeah,
yeah,
we at
it's
our old
cool.
house, we had a hamster cemetery. We had a couple of them buried back there. I was like, I
Hey, we
swore I'm never
had
gonna hamster again.
my youngest, Chloe, had adopted Hobbs. On my old YouTube channel, I actually did a video about
Hmm.
a home video because my dad got together with her over during COVID, and they built this hamster condo, 2 floors, 4 rooms. It's very
Oh, I
impressive.
love it.
It's
I love
amazing,
it.
and I did a video. I put it on my YouTube channel. It's still sitting there, and the title was like the most amazing condo ever or something like that. And Hobbs was just the most chill. He's a dwarf, Chinese dwarf hamster, so the little tiny,
Mhm.
and he was just the most chill guy. And he'd just sit on your lap, and he'd fall
Mm.
asleep in your lap, and whatever. And he lived like 3 years. It's like almost
Really?
2.5 years. She
That's
takes
a
good
long
care.
time.
Oh, she takes good care. And then after Hobbs passed, we got Peanut,
No.
and then we got Crouton, and
Crouton.
because I
That's so
honestly, and
cute.
you know what? I'm gonna take some credit here because Peanut literally was shaped like a peanut, and she's like, "I need a name like he looks like a peanut." That's a great name, Mom. So when we got the next one, Peanut lived about a year and a half, and then we got Crouton. Crouton was this white with like dirty brown stripe or whatnot, and
Yeah.
I said, he's like, kind of looks like she. It was a she. She looks like a crouton. Oh, that's so cute. We're gonna do. So we named her Crouton. She named her Crouton. And then Crouton passed. Crouton
Oh,
had issues. Crouton unfortunately wasn't with us that long. Surprisingly. But then, so our recent additions, we went and she had 2 more Chinese dwarf hamsters, but this time, Mom, can I get 2? I said, okay. So she got the 2 little brothers, same litter, super cute. And we're on our way home and we're thinking of names. I'm like, how about Bert and Ernie? So
oh,
we have Bert and Ernie.
perfect.
Bert
Perfect.
is the chill dude, and Ernie is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And they like sleep together and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But
cute.
yeah,
Look,
but anyhow,
look at you.
that's the hamster story that probably nobody cared about or wanted to hear, but I said it anyways. So there
But
you
you know
go.
what? You just gave some good ideas for hamster names. So there you go.
That's my contribution. There we go. The more you know.
There we go. The more you know. All right.
Totally useless information.
It's okay. But somebody's gonna appreciate that, Jen.
I hope so.
They will. It's all right. So you want to hear the next one?
Yes.
It's a regret story. Here we go. This is posted 16 days ago. It says the title of it is the regret has hit.
Uh-oh.
Bought a home. When we toured it, I fell in love with it. I unknowingly had COVID and couldn't smell. My fiance said the house sort of smelled bad. I was like, I don't smell it either way. We'll paint it and clean it up. Made offer and got it. Come back come back after we go. Oh yeah, come back after we go through it a few times, like the inspection. Inspector kicked in the furnace and it killed us from the smells. Animal dander and dust getting kicked on and burnt up. We
Oh,
got scared. Uh-huh. We got scared, but we were told it would probably smell because it hadn't been kicked on. So we said it'll be okay. We'll have it cleaned and vents cleaned, sanitized. Sign all the paperwork and get to work cleaning. Turns out the floors are gray and not the brown tinge we thought. They were brown from cigarette smoke. The stink
ugh.
was unbearable at times, but we cleaned it up and the smell goes away quite a bit. We say, oh, we'll prime with Kills, and that product Kills, Kilz.
Yep.
Okay, it says we'll prime it with Kills and paint the walls, run ozone, and the smell should be gone. We do, it's gone, smells like paint. Move in, and the smell is slightly there after a couple of days. We say, oh, well, we haven't finished painting all the rooms, and we have another vent cleaning soon, so it should be good. We start dinner tonight, first meal in the house. Exciting. Stove kicks on, and the smell emitting from the back of the stove is shocking. Like stale hot cigarettes. My throat is hurting. I want to scream with anger and frustration. I feel like we made the biggest mistake of our lives. We've slaved away in the house, cleaning, fixing, painting the home for 3+ weeks to make it bearable, except it still isn't. Now I feel I need to sell the stove and get a new one in the hopes of not making it stink and we can actually cook. We still haven't kicked on the furnace or AC in the fear of all the dust and hair being flung throughout the house again and stinking it up like the other one, like the one at the time when we turned them on. Please, someone give us words of encouragement because I want to cry with frustration. I feel sick.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Oh
so,
boy. You know,
uh,
so Jackie, you ever hear that old saying, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them,
uh-huh.
right? When you walk into a house and you smell a smell, like, don't ignore
Mhm.
it. Don't ignore it.
No.
The house is showing you who it is,
Mhm.
right? The house is showing you who it is. There's a smell, don't ignore it.
Mhm.
Why did the home inspector turn the stove on?
I don't know.
The home inspector could have turned the stove on, and you would have had the smell.
I
I
know.
mean,
I
like,
know.
this is the thing is and this is the sad part about, that home buyer experience where you get excited and it's your first place and you're you and we talk about this ad nauseum. We talk about the fact
Mhm.
that when you're buying a house, when you're in that home buyer mode, it is really, it's not impossible, but it is really hard to switch gears from an aesthetic mode, an excited mode, a passion mode, right, to an analytical mode, to a
Mhm.
pragmatic mode. It is really hard to go from, emotion to analysis. And when you're in that
Mhm.
emotional mode, you're gonna justify everything because in your mind, you're gonna see. We were talking about this before the podcast. What you look, I talked to my daughter about this earlier. You're gonna see what you look for. You're gonna
Yes.
see what you look for. If you're looking for a house, you love this house and you want this house to work, you're gonna see and not see what you don't wanna see.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
it's unfortunate, and I hate to put it on the shoulders if they had a real estate agent, but that's when you have somebody by your side that's tipping the scales, a good
Mhm.
agent, not any agent, 'cause, 80% of the agents,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
how I feel.
I
80% of the
know.
agents don't care. I mean,
Yep.
they care somewhat, some care more than others, but they don't care, like the way that a true real estate agent, and there's only about 20%, maybe less, of those agents.
Mhm.
Agents that are willing to talk you out of buying something that you shouldn't be buying, you know?
Right.
I say, "Hey,
Right.
listen, this really stinks in here." And cigarettes and animal urine are
Um,
tough smells to
So
get.
hard.
They are
So hard to get
so
rid of them.
hard.
Yep. They
And
are.
I've had clients that have said, "You know what, Jen? I get it. and we're not going to live this house. We're not going to live in here for like 2 months, and we're going to strip the whole inside. We're fine with it. We're fine. I moved into. I'm super sensitive with smells. Super,
Mhm.
super
Oh, me
sensitive.
too. Yep.
And the house I'm living in had, we had, well, actually, they had a dog 2 owners ago. The people that we bought it off was only they were only there for a year. But the previous owners before them had a dog, like all the woodwork was scratched, and beat up.
Mm.
And there was a room up in one of the upstairs bedrooms where there was a little faint smell, a little bit, just not super strong, but it was carpet. And it was our intention. I have asthma. I was like, all the carpet's going. Every
Yep.
carpet like is getting ripped up. Plain period, right? We're gonna do that anyways. And my husband at the time was, his construction background. And he's like, we can address that. Okay. So we move in. I had a cat. I'm allergic to cats. Shouldn't have had a cat, but I digress.
Mm.
Had a cat. What do cats do when they smell other animals? They mark their
Eight.
territory.
Mhm.
So what did this cat do? Went in that bedroom, peed all over the place. Mark it, not all over the place, but marked his territory.
Ugh.
But the thing is like, I mean, did we remedied it because well, 9 months after we bought the house, hello, my first daughter.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Another conversation today. Um, and but it was like we went into it with eyes wide open. We knew that we were going to have to tear out the floors. We were going to have to treat the subfloor multiple times if we needed to. We were already
Yep.
planning on ripping out all the molding. We were already planning on painting every surface in the room,
Yep.
ceilings, walls, everything. If you paint it properly, you will encapsulate the smell. You got to treat the
Yes.
floors and treat them properly. The subfloor, not the floor that's on the subfloor, but the actual
Right.
floor. You got to rip up any floor that's holding that moisture, that smell. You got to treat it, let it dry, and then possibly treat it again. You will
Yes.
get rid of it because that room, and then we did that, and then we put engineered hardwood on top of it.
Yep.
And I have a sensitive sniffer.
It got rid of it.
Right
Yeah.
now, we do not have, and the cat unfortunately passed away. You know, um, 5 years after we were here, something like that. So, and he never went back in that room. He never marked his territory, and there was no issue.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
you gotta be eyes wide open with this stuff. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
do. Yep. And don't eyes wide open, but like, and don't ignore it and say, like you love the house and I wanted, I don't care, because we're seeing that a lot. We've seen that
yep,
a lot the last few years. And people are just
yeah,
jumping on any house. And this is what happens, and this is why regret comes in because then you start noticing all the things. And I
it is
agree with you. The agent should have pointed that out. I
for
think the
sure,
agent
for
should have
sure.
definitely said, like, "What the hell's going on here in this house? Why does it smell so bad?" And and check for like
Have
you
a
said, it smells like
conversation.
a. I mean, yeah,
Have
but
a conversation.
there's
'Cause it's because it should be unto to the buyer for sure. Like if the buyer understands it's gonna cost you money to rip out the floors. It's gonna cost you money,
yeah,
if they understand that and they're willing
mm-hmm,
to, go through the expense and they're able to do that work themselves or whatever, then, just because the house has a smell doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it.
right,
But you need to prepare for I mean, for this particular buyer, this particular homeowner,
mm-hmm,
um, I think she just needs to she needs to just come to the terms with the fact that every surface in that house needs to be cleaned, and dealt with, and
yep,
vents cleaned, walls cleaned and then painted. Don't paint them without cleaning them. Do not
yes,
without cleaning it, because then the paint won't stick
absolutely,
properly. The paint will how many times have we seen that, Jackie, where people are just like, "Oh, the walls have nicotine on them. Let's just paint right over it." No,
new,
paint doesn't stick.
new,
The paint does not stick, and then it ends up bubbling, and it's a mess. You gotta clean that stuff, get that crap out of there. Yeah, you probably need a new stove. I mean, to be honest,
no.
if there was a foul smell, I mean, come on.
What
That
the
thing
hell was living in the stove? Something
I'd
must
be
have
go
been living in that.
no
I'd be
joke,
getting rid
I'd
of
be
that.
going to unless they stored their ashtrays in the stove. They could
Ew.
be like, maybe put their dirty ashtrays in the stove for storage or
No, but
something.
it's
I
I
don't
get
know.
the impression that maybe something was living in there. I don't know. Like, it's ew. Ew. No.
Can you imagine?
But no.
Imagine be like,
Nope.
turn the oven on, don't look in the oven. Oh, looks like we're having
Oh.
fried mice tonight for dinner, guys.
Oh god, ew.
Eh,
Ew.
eh.
Um, so some
I'd get a new stove. I would,
so somebody commented here, Jen, not to I didn't mean to cut you off, but
yeah,
but
good.
I'm just reading the comments here, and somebody said that with the nicotine, that the yellow brown smoke tar can and will soak through paint, even kills over time. My
Well,
uncle
that's
was
why
a
you clean
painter
it.
that specialized in cleaning smoker houses in the 90s, and they constantly either used filtered water and lye on the walls to strip them, or simply ripped down the drywall and replaced it.
Yeah, I don't think
Wow.
I don't know about that. I don't know that I agree with
I
that
would
entirely.
almost get, yeah, I
There's
don't
there's
know. I mean,
there's a lot of products out there. There's a lot, it depends. If the walls were painted, right, and that nicotine's
yeah,
on the wall, on the painted walls, okay?
yeah,
There are
yeah,
many products on the market now that will take that stuff right off. You have to clean it. It's gonna then that's why just we were just saying,
yeah,
you can't paint it unless it's all about prep. Prep, prep, prep. Painting is
yeah,
90%
that's true.
period, right? And
Yep,
if it's all about the cleaning, it's not about the kills. I mean, yes, I put kills on it, but the walls have to be completely paint ready, but you don't have to like it's not the end all be all. No, you don't have to strip the I mean, if if you have a house that say has um paneling or has
mm,
like uh painted drywall, that like a thin coat or something,
mm,
if the house is really old or I don't know. It just maybe, but
yeah.
there's the products they have now, Jackie. Come on, you think a magic eraser would take that stuff off?
Oh,
You
I
go
don't
through
know about that.
magic
I
erasers are
don't know about I don't know about magic.
magic.
I mean, magic eraser is good, but I don't know if it's going to take out cigarette stains.
Abs
But
100% it will. Magic erasers are
yeah,
magic. They are
oh,
magic. There's nothing there you can't compete with magic. Magic trumps all.
yeah.
Like, that's it. That's the end
You
all be
like
all.
to say that. Yeah, you like to say it's magic, but okay.
No, I think that, I you know, I because I do buy those magic erasers by the bucket.
I do
I like
too.
they get all
I
the
love magic erasers.
fingering they get the fingerprints off the things. I
Yep.
clean my the vent over my stove, right? All
Hmm.
the grease and just
Yeah.
cooking stuff. I don't do frying. I don't fry stuff,
Yep.
or not, but just general, I don't know,
Yeah.
cook it. It just seems like it gets a little yucky and like sticky. So I just take the magic eraser and you got to work at it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other products besides magic eraser for sure, but uh, yeah, that's what I would do. And it's going to be a pain in the
Yeah.
butt. And it's probably could cost some money, but
Yep.
it is what it
So
is.
they need to do it. They need to clean it, paint it, and then enjoy the house. Like, don't be regretting it now. You got to go make those changes
And
and just enjoy
and,
it.
and the reality of it is it's going to be a pain time wise,
Yep.
monetarily. You're talking elbow grease, some
Yes.
cleaning solution and paint.
Yep.
You're not talking about replacing roofs and windows and, whatever not, right? You're talking about
Yep.
it's not I mean, yeah, replace the stove, it's a little bit pricier. Um,
Yep.
tax time's coming. Tax
Tax
hopefully
time's coming.
they get a tax
Get
refund.
refunds.
Get your
Get your
refund.
refund. Buy your stove. There you
Okay, so
go.
I got a little PSA when it comes to tax time. Take that tax return, stick it in your account for this exact reason. Don't spend
Yes.
the money. Don't spend
Don't.
the money. Take
Nope.
that tax return and stick it in your bank account in a high interest yield account. They're all over the place now. 4.5%. You can get them. Capital One.
Yep.
Uh, and let it sit there. And then you get money for in case you buy a house that has a smell that you didn't smell or whatever.
Yes. So yeah, I didn't know you were a financial advisor too, John. Good
I
job.
am not a financial advisor and I don't claim to be one. I only take one. There you go. This is
Ah,
fun stuff.
okay.
and that's who I have. I think their savings rates are they're pretty good. 4.5%
Yeah,
in the savings account,
that's good. Yeah, that's
right?
really good. Four and a
I
half.
think
You never
so.
see that.
I was with a private bank for years that was like 0.01%. I'm like, my brother
Oh,
he's like, sis, yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, do go blah 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 blah. And so
yeah,
I started doing some research, and they're all over the place.
yeah.
Apple's got their own savings account. It's like
Really?
it's like 4.5%. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. See?
And just like
Hey,
automatically with Apple Cash, if you earn Apple Cash on stuff, you can have it automatically deposited into the savings account for you. And
really? Look at you.
I
Look at
researched,
you.
you know what?
Yeah,
This is what I don't sleep, Jackie.
yeah,
This is the stuff that
that
just keeps,
I
I'm
know
like,
you don't.
I'm like, I need to know. If something sparks
Yes.
my curiosity, I'm like, I have to research it. I have to
I,
understand.
oh,
I
yes, you do. Yes, you do. I know. I know
I like to
you.
understand. I like to understand stuff. Now,
And
mind
that's what.
you, the stupid
Yep.
menopause is making me forget everything. So now I got to write everything down. Before I could just research it, you're like, you write down a couple notes. Now I got to write down every flipping thing
I
because,
know.
oh my
Yep.
God. I'm like, something
I know.
happened on the computer the other day. And I was like, oh, I know that our friend Joe actually reached out to me, right? He was having problems with his
Yeah.
stream. I had troubles with my stream deck. I fixed it. Jackie, did I write down the steps that I did to fix it? Nope.
No. Why would you?
Could I offer that same advice to Joe who's having the same problem? Like, for the life of me, I have no idea. And I don't just
Isn't it
punch
great?
buttons, like, no, I researched it, but I'm like, what the heck did I have no idea.
And that's the
So,
story of my life every day. I
you
can't tell you.
know what
I
I
can't
mean?
tell you what I did this morning. So right now it's bad. It's just not a good place to be in, but
I took a
it
shower
is
this
what
morning.
it is. Well,
I'm
that's
pretty
good.
Yeah, I'm sure you did too. You did take a
Yeah, I
shower,
did
right?
too.
Brush
Yeah, I
your
did.
teeth? So there you go.
Yeah.
There's 2 things you
Yeah.
remember.
See? Oh, okay. You're right. Major point.
I got your back. I
I know
got your
you
back.
do.
All right. What else you got
All right.
there, Meeker?
What else do we got? Okay, this is another one's from the first home buyer, Reddit. Title is Should We Back Out? Here we go.
Mm-mm.
Buyers in trouble. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Go.
wait. What? Oh my God. Oh,
I'm waiting. You got to be quicker than that, Jen. Come on.
it's like that meme with the guy with the gold with the fish and the fishing rod. Oh, you gotta
Yeah.
be quicker than that.
You got to be quicker than that. Yep.
You know, I'm a little rusty. I told you, like
Yes.
a
It's
little rusty right
okay.
now.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Hot
Okay.
is.
Here we go. So should we back out? Going to try to sum up our situation. Please ask questions for clarification now. Put an offer on an older home, 1930s. Seller accepts offer. We get an inspection. There's nothing crazy except for pointing out some shingles falling off the roof and exterior paint chipping. Our appraiser, so for a VA loan, also calls us out. The seller wants to sell as is, but we have convinced him to fix the chipping paint, in which he took the day off work to do himself. Only fixing the areas called out. Still unsure if this will be okay with the appraiser. We're assuming for now. The home probably needs new siding within the next 5 years, but that could be a decent investment for us, so it's fine. But then a roofer came, sent by us, and said that we have 20-year shingles up there, and fixing the broken ones will just cause issues, so it's best to replace the roof. The second roofer, sent by the seller, went out the next day and said they are 30-year shingles, and we can just fix a few and it's fine. What the hell do we do? Seller has been a pain in the ass, considering we are already assuming a lot with the age of the home. But we don't want to have to replace a roof within a year of buying our first house. Should we just walk away? We only fought this long because we do love the house, but now I'm worried it's too much to take on. So Jen.
So yeah, the first thing they need to do is a really easy answer. Get a third estimate.
Yes. Yes. Get a third.
Get a third estimate. That's it.
And I've said this before, when people bring roofers in sometimes to inspect, they're looking for a job too, the roofers.
A lot of them are.
So of course they're going to say that, and I'm not throwing shade at roofers and contractors. I'm not trying to like make them look bad, but there are some that will come out and say, yeah, you really need to replace that roof.
Yep.
And the roofer for the seller could have been a friend of the seller's, right? And just went went in and said, "No, it's fine. 30-year shingles, you're good. You know, you don't need to only replace the missing shingles." But be careful. You're right. Bring in another person because somebody's trying to get a job off of you. They're trying to make some money. So that's
And
what I
then
say to that.
you can make the decision. And I think that what they need to do is have a real heart-to-heart talk with themselves, with each other, spouse, spreadsheet, pros and cons list, a list of everything that needs to be
Hmm.
value of that, what's it going to cost,
Hmm.
and the time frame. I mean, the thing of it is Jackie, buying a house, every house needs work.
Yep.
Every house needs work. You buy a new construction, you have less work, potentially, hopefully, you have less things, but eventually things break. And that's why when a new construction, you still put money in reserves, right? Every month,
Yep.
just in case, because
Just in case.
eventually that thing is going to break. The furnace, or
Yep.
you're going to have to choose. You could have a dishwasher that dies in 2 years.
Yep.
Brand new, doesn't matter, right? Um, so I think they need to sit down and look at their finances now. And it's like, it's
Hmm.
like what we say with buyers, especially first time home buyers. Don't budget for tomorrow. Don't buy today
Hmm.
what you're budgeting for tomorrow. Buy today that you can budget today. In other words, if you don't think you're going to be able to afford it, then don't buy it. You need
Right.
to be able to afford it today. So if you look at it and say, okay, I really should have $10,000 in reserves, because if that roof only lasts 6 months, we got to be able to afford to pay it. And you
Yep.
don't. No, if you're sitting there saying, well, I'm going to get a raise next year and we'll be able to put more money away or whatever. I mean, and I'm not talking like we said, talked earlier about tax return. Even that makes us a little bit uncomfortable, is a little bit, uncertain,
Hmm.
because tax laws change and all the things. But I mean, a lot of people, a lot of home buyers I talk to do exactly that. They take their tax return and put it in an account, and that's their rainy day fund, for repairs.
Yep.
But I think they just need to make a list and then see if those repairs are something that they can budget for, and if it's worth it, and then look at what the alternative is. And it's like, if other houses in the area are, you gotta step outside and separate yourself from the being, in love with the house to a more pragmatic business decision. You need your agent to help.
Exactly.
You need your
So
agent to help you decipher some of that
you
stuff.
need the agent. So one of the comments here is somebody, a lender, actually responded to this, and this is something I was going to bring up because I always bring this up. So this guy says, the lender here, you have two issues to tackle. Number one, requirements if from the lender and insurance company. Property has to meet appraisal requirements and home insurance requirements. If those
Mhm.
cannot be met, no one will lend on it or insure it. Find another place. That's what this guy's saying. And he also said, personal risk you're willing to take. If you can get point one handled and of potential future concerns, you have to decide if those are worth your financial risk based on income, assets, future earnings potential. If they are, continue moving forward. If they are not, find another home. Make sure you can coordinate with your realtor on steps to take for this process. So it's the homeowner's insurance too.
Yep,
And I
it's a
and
great point.
this
Great point.
keeps coming up. This keeps
Yep.
coming up, and even for myself personally, I think I might have shared this with you. I don't know if I shared it here on the podcast, but we have to start looking at getting estimates to replace our roof next spring because we go to sell this in 5 years. No one's going to buy it. Like we're at a point like this. There's two layers on our roof, right? I think the
Mhm.
previous owners put it in. I think in 2010 they put another layer on it, and it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
you're due. You're due.
that's not good. Yeah, we're due, right? So it's expensive, and I don't know if anytime the roof is involved, I would reconsider seriously, unless you can get some money from the seller to help replace it.
Well,
because you're not, the insurance is going to be such an issue.
right. And I think
So.
that kind of, I think it all feeds into itself, Jackie, because like if they're looking at it as a whole, right? I think that it's easy to get hyper focused on just one element, being right. And really what you need to do is you've got to look at the entire picture. The entire picture is you have a house with a market value. Okay.
Yep.
Accepted offer. Okay. Based on that offer, how does that compare to similar properties in the area and that are similar condition or better condition? And maybe they're getting this house $20,000 below market value because it needs work.
Right.
Right. And you say, okay,
Yep.
so this property is $20,000 below market value and it needs $10,000 worth of work. Not necessarily runaway situation, right? Like it's still
Right.
justifiable. You take that overall situation and then you compare it to your financial situation. And it's like if all the pieces of the puzzle mix, the buyers know what they're walking into, they've done their homework, the value is supported with you. In other words, you're not putting $30,000 into a house right away out of the gate where it's not that, if that house is selling for $500,000 and the house down the street is in better condition selling for $500,000, I wouldn't spend a dime on that roof. I'd walk away. I'd buy the house down the
Right.
street. But if this house,
Exactly.
but you're getting this house for $475, right? Or 470, and and say the roof is 10 grand, right?
Yep.
And then you look at your finances and you go, you know what? We can budget for this. If it's possible, we can budget for this and put the new roof on in 6 months. I think that's a decision point. On the insurance though, a lot of times these insurance companies are not, back in the day, you would make a phone call, they'd ask you a couple of questions and
Right.
they'd give you a policy. Now, a lot of them are sending people out to take a look at the property. And if it looks like, or they're asking for an appraisal, the appraisers take pictures of the property. And if they see something on the picture that doesn't jive, then they're like, you know what? We are not comfortable with that roof. We need to know the exact date. And you say, well, Mr. Insurance Company, I don't know the exact date. Well, we're not going to write policy unless we know what the date is. And then they say, oh, the date is unknown or it's 20 years old. Okay. Now we're not going to insure the property unless that house has a new roof.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think it's a complicated answer. I don't think it's answered by, being in love with a house kind of dictates whether you even want to do the dance.
Yep.
Figure out if the dance is worth it first.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep. So, all right.
Interesting.
All right. I got another one. And this has to do with an 80% agent.
Oh boy.
Ready?
I love these.
I know you do.
It's like watching a car wreck, honestly. Hearing about an 80%.
Oh,
I hate it. And it's like, oh God. But then I'm like, tell me more.
Yeah, I know. But then I get all fired up when I see these stories. Okay, so I recorded my video for my channel today about bad agents, and I was showing TikTok videos and I'm watching them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so fired up. And as I'm recording the video, I'm like talking to the camera, and I'm like, and another thing, why are we doing that? And I'm like, chill. I'm like, what the hell, Jack? Chill out. Like, why am I getting like this? Like, oh my God. But it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
High moral compass. That's what I said.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Be prepared though. Be prepared, because I did one similar last week and I heard from a lot of 80% agents. And they were not happy.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. I don't care either. I don't care either. I'm calling you out. Calling you out. All right.
Because consumers need to know.
They need to know. Exactly.
And I just hate, I can't stand it. So tell me the story.
So this one just like hot off the presses. This is from like earlier today. This one came up. So Yeah. So this one says under contract and inspection comes back with big money items, but realtor is asking us to not negotiate. What WTF?
Beautiful.
Why would
Okay.
you do that? Okay, you ready? Okay.
Yep.
Here we go. We're under contract for a house that was priced at low comps value for the area. It is a good deal and should appraise, hopefully, for about $45 to $50,000 more than what we got our offer accepted for. After inspection, it needs between $50 to $75,000 of work. Replacements
Mm.
needed for every window in the house, hot water heater, and electrical box. Various other little things that only add up to a few thousand as well. Not concerned about those things at all, though. It's just the big ticket items that concern me. We decided to ask our realtor for 50 to 75% of closing costs to be paid by the seller. This would drop our closing costs by $10 to $15,000. I did not think this was an unreasonable request, but my realtor and I are talking in circles about it. I am not sure if he's scared to lose the deal, just trying to push us to close for the money, or if the seller is unreasonable and he knows that. Is this unreasonable? What should I do? Um, you're not wrong. They're pushing you to close the deal. He wants to get paid. So that's why they're not going back and asking for it. I've seen this. I've seen, you may disagree with me, but
I
they're
agree.
not working for the buyer right here.
Nope.
And they should, so, okay. So the video I did today, I shared a story that I had of these clients that came to me a couple of years ago because they were working with another agent. They were under contract on a house. Inspection came back with about $50,000 worth of repairs. Their agent just went MIA. 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 It stopped responding to their texts, wouldn't answer their calls.
What the
And they were
heck?
like, what the hell? So they thank God, we have the attorneys here in Jersey. So the attorneys ended up trying to work it out, and the deal fell apart. The seller was refusing to address anything, but the realtor bailed on them. And the reason being is because he knew that the deal was going to fall apart with that. He knew that that's what it was. The deal was going to fall apart. These people found some major ticket items, big ticket items, and he probably thought that the seller wasn't going to agree to it, so he just bailed. I mean, is that the weirdest thing? Like, you go to
Weird.
bat,
It's
you're,
not weird. It's not weird.
but
It's sad and it's gross.
it
It's
is
gross,
gross. It's
you know,
stupid, and
and it's
we're
stupid. It's called like a classic example of an agent putting their needs before
that's
the client. They're like, I'm not going to do another lick of work on this because I'm not getting paid. I'm not
that's
another
yeah,
lick.
that's exactly it.
Because there's no money into it for me. I'm not going to make
So
any money.
here's the thing. So this couple,
They should round all
I
these agents
ended
up. They should round all these agents up. Put them in a
we
pen
should.
and then
There
just
you
let them
go.
fight it out. They should have like
We
cage match.
should. We
Oh,
should.
real estate agent cage matches. Oh, that would be so great. That'd be so great. They could like negotiate against each other.
Can you
Oh,
imagine?
so
Oh
beautiful.
my God.
That'd be
That
so
would be
great.
so much fun. That would be so much fun. So, but
Death.
to continue with my little story here, and the point I want to make with this, when things get difficult in a transaction, the purpose of our job, the reason we are in this is to be that buffer between the buyer and seller and to have the hard conversations on our client's behalf to to have the conversation of like, hey, we need to have this addressed, or there's a lot going on here. Where's the common ground? What can we do to make everybody happy to get
You know
this
what?
to the closing table?
You know what this would be
Eh,
like? This would be like. Let me give you an analysis.
okay,
Give you a what's it called? Good grief, I'm having word issues today. An
that's
analogy.
okay. Okay,
Analogy. You go in for surgery to your doctor. Sit down with your
right.
doctor. I need to have
Yep.
kidney removed. I don't know. Whatever. You have a
Yep.
standard surgery.
Yep.
Okay, we go over the thing. This is what you need to do. Yada yada. Sign all the papers. Great. You get into surgery. You start to have a problem. This
Mm-hmm.
this 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 patient might die. the surgeon just walks out of the room. Like, I'm not getting paid on this one, so I'm done. I'm taking my lunch now.
It got too hard. It got too hard.
Hard.
It got too hard, and they walk away from it.
That would never happen.
No, it wouldn't happen. But in this business, why the hell does that keep happening? Why do agents, like, they run the other direction when things get too difficult? I mean, look, when I put up with a lot of crap, there's things that a lot of my clients don't know that I dealt with on the other end, dealing with the other agent.
Same.
Right?
Yep.
They have no clue. Because that's our point. We're protecting them from having that stress and that heartache and all the things.
I tell them after the fact. I'm like, hey, by the
Oh,
way,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoa, Jen, you should have told us. I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Like I want to, and it wasn't, I don't hold back information, but like drama, they don't need to know about drama.
No, they
need to know other agents being an asshole or not returning my calls. They don't need to know that I had to call that agent 10 times before I get a phone call back. And I'm furious as hell. They don't need to know that, because that would just get them, they've got enough on their plate. And my job is to just get in touch with the agent. Right?
Exactly.
But I tell them afterwards, and then they get all mad at the agent.
Oh, please. They should, right. I mean, I told you the story a month ago. The seller slammed a freaking door in my face because he was pissed off at my buyer. And it's like, okay, this is what we're going to have to do. And, this is what we do. And to read this story, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Like, why would you encourage them not to, number one, negotiate the repairs, and then number two, not even go into about, like, they're asking for the concessions.
Yep.
And then what they're saying, I'm not sure he's scared to lose the deal or just trying to push us to close. It's both of those. He's going to lose the deal, and he needs his money. And I get it. That we have bills to pay. We got to put food on the table. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you're screwing your clients.
So let's paint a picture of what it should be. What it should be is that you have this situation. The agent is at the home inspection. The agent's taking notes. The agent then convenes with the buyer. Usually it's after the fact, phone call, have conversation, or Zoom or something, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about the stuff you're concerned about. Okay, what do we need to get estimates on? Yada, yada. Do the homework, whatever not.
Yeah.
So buyer has conversation with the spouse, if there's a spouse, whatever, right? Go back to the agent. The agent advises them and gives them options and says, okay, so here are the strategies. Okay, here's what I know about the seller.
Mm-hmm.
This is what our job is, to be transparent with everything we know. If the seller's a jerk, just tell them the seller's a jerk.
Yep.
But the reality is once we close, you're in that house. It doesn't matter if the seller's a jerk. It's my job to keep them, focused on the goal. The goal is, you want this house. You love this house. My job is to try to get you into this house, and with everything intact, right? To keep everybody on the same page. And so whether the seller's an ass or not doesn't matter in the long run. We're going to look past that, but at least we know what we're dealing with. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So we know this. The agent's an ass. Or maybe she's not an ass. Who knows? She's doing the best she can. Okay, great. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, this is what your options are. And we can request whatever you want, but it's the what's probable gonna, it's the what's possible, what's probable, right? What we can do and what will actually ultimately happen, two different things. We can do this, and then there's what's reasonable. Okay, 10 to 15,000, that sounds reasonable based on what we have. Based on this documentation. I would say 50 to 75,000. How we get documentation for that stuff, and so that when the agent goes to the seller's agent and say, okay, here's all the issues with the house. Here are the estimates, and this is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but this is what happens. This is the proper way to do it, because this is how you can get the best deal and not lose the house. Mm-hmm. You get to that, so then the seller can see. And it's not just an agent being like, yeah, so they want to do like 10,000. Will you do that? Oh, okay. They won't do it. Like, that's what they're expecting an agent to do, because
Hmm.
that's a crappy agent. But a good
Right.
agent will go and say, "Here's everything that is," and I do a video. I'm like, "This is the thing. Here are the estimates. This is." They're not asking you to pay for that, Mr. Seller. They're not.
Hmm.
But they think it's reasonable based on what they're paying for the house and other comparable properties that don't have these issues. They're asking for a reasonable credit of this. And then Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, he could agree, he couldn't agree. But we'll have to cross
Right.
that bridge, because they could come. You explain all that stuff. You have the buyer eyes wide open, like with the smell. You have your eyes wide open. If
Yes.
they may accept it, they may not. And if they don't, we'll either we'll have a plan B, or we'll try to negotiate. And nothing's set in stone. It's not set in stone. It's not a clear path, but you got to start the conversation. And here's the proper way to start the conversation. But it takes work. And at the end of the day, Jackie, and we talk about this all the time, it's, you know what, and they're not easy to find, but a what I call a 20% agent. It's the old 80
Right.
20. I didn't pull these
Yes, it
numbers.
is.
I don't say 80%. On my channel, I'm like 80% of the agents are not worth what they're getting paid. 20% of the agents are worth their weight in gold. I didn't make that. I didn't pull a million agents. I stole it from the 80-20 rule. 20% of the
Yeah,
people do 80% of the work. And the numbers,
absolutely.
I think that's the numbers do work, because 20% of the agents, I feel like there are some damn good real estate agents that are worth
Yep.
every penny, that will help you negotiate and get more money on off that house, or
Yep.
find you a good deal, or save you money by not letting you buy a house that's a shithole, or
Yeah.
help you sell for more money or shorter period of time. Like, those are the people that know their business, right?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
and the bottom line, the common thread with all those agents, Jackie, they put their clients' needs first, because at the end of the day, they know that if they help enough clients get what they want, the money will follow. Their mortgage will get paid,
Yep.
right? Just do the
Yep.
right thing and help people. It's not pie in the sky.
Absolutely.
It is business, but you got to help people for the right reasons. And
Right. And if
I don't.
you're in this just for the check, get out of the business. I'm sorry. Don't
Yes,
just stop screwing around, you know?
Jackie and I are coming for you, because
Yeah.
we get a lot of not so nice comments on our channel, and I just love it,
Oh,
because
no.
maybe,
I
yeah,
know.
drive these people out. Drive these
I
people
know.
out. Get
I
out.
know.
Show them the
Get
door.
out. Get
What
out.
um what is some of the follow-up comments? Did they what do we know? Well, this just happened, right?
Yeah, literally, this is earlier today. So somebody wrote, your agent works for you, not the seller. If you want to negotiate repairs or credits, that's your right. The fact that you got to under market doesn't change that. Those are separate issues. Tell your agent to submit your request or find a new agent who will. The seller can always say no, but you won't know unless you ask. So they responded though and said, oh no, I'm sorry, it was a different person that responded. I can't ever track these, like follow these things properly. So somebody commented, this is just a random comment. They said they submitted a request for repair work after home and septic inspections. Realtor kept telling me I was asking for too much. I ignored her. Seller did about 14,000 in repairs. I specifically wanted different jargon in the request, but the seller's agent modified it. I had wanted my own septic inspector to reevaluate their work, but I didn't get that because my realtor was lousy. My realtor said the seller is just a good guy, which he probably is, but that's not how her job works. She works for me and not the seller. I had to remind her that useless individual. Yeah. So other people are chiming in about their own lousy experiences with crappy 80% agents.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So bottom line is like that first comment. Yeah, you have the right to the inspections and you do have a right to ask for it. And
Yep.
you can, and just push for it. Don't let them steamroll over you to tell you no, you're going to lose, and don't let them scare you saying you're going to lose a house if you ask for that, because that's a bunch of bull too. Just
Yep.
don't do that.
I mean, the only
Because
exception I think of what not doing a home inspection would be is if you are a contractor buying a house that you're going to renovate, and because you're a
yeah,
contractor, you go through and you look for everything that you would normally look for anyways.
right,
And you have the money to offset. Like, if the house needs, they always say 1.5 times, right? So,
hmm,
You have, if the house, if you think it's going to cost you 50,000, you have 75,000 in the bank to offset just in case something, or even double to offset it, you know.
Mhm.
And if you have a professional contractor, they're going to be able to absorb that. But besides that, have a second set of
Yeah,
eyes. You know, you got to have a second
absolutely.
set of eyes, check everything. This is like a massive purchase. I don't understand
I don't under
how
it's
people not do inspections. This is a massive amount of a massive purchase,
uh,
massive investment, right? Like
right.
what
Well,
you're
no,
buying.
they did the inspections, but here's the thing. It's
Mostly in general. I'm just going off on a
the oh
tangent.
yeah, general, right. Because well, the agent is agent has that condition called commission breath, and that's what that's what they're all about. So now I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
so
but
so
that's the
TikTok
truth.
will get rid of that.
Yeah.
But,
So
it's you know what does get rid of that? It's the old, what's that candy bar called? Show them the door bar. I don't know, I
show them
couldn't
the
think of anything
door
else
bar.
funnier than that. I don't show them the door, get rid of them. Get rid of the
Oh
agent.
yeah.
Fire
Oh
the
yeah. I'm like,
agent.
what the hell are you talking
I
about?
know
Yes, get
that
rid of
was a
them.
fat
Yeah.
joke. That was a
Can them. Yeah.
f
All right, Jen. But your timing on your sound effects are just
they
spot
can't
on. So
they can't all be home runs.
you know what? You're fine. Anyway, so speaking of home inspections, I got another good one. You ready
And
for this?
on the home inspection?
Uh-huh. Another story.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Fire
Okay.
away.
This is all right. This is learn from my mistake. Get the inspection. And they have
Oh,
it typed out in all caps. Get the inspection. Oh, you ready? Buckle
you know
up.
what?
Here we
It's
go.
almost like we were just talking about that. It's
No, really?
it's weird.
A little deja vu.
Uh,
I love it. Okay. So this poster says, you don't need to beat a dead horse and tell me what an idiot I am. I know that, and I'm kicking myself every day for it. Oh, the poor guy. We had been looking for 6 months, and my oldest son was about to start school. So we made this stupid decision to waive the inspection to make our offer more attractive. We did a general look around the house, but all of the issues that have come up go much deeper than that. Home purchase in late August from a for sale by owner. Seller lied in the disclosures about several things. Let me start from the beginning. We moved in and had no hot water, needed to replace the hot water tank and some of the hot cold valves as they were broken. Seller was obviously taking cold showers. $2,000 this cost him to replace the hot water tank. Both toilets were leaking and needed replacing. There was a big puddle of water in the basement after a few days of us living there. Come to find out the toilet was flushing into the basement. There's no way she didn't know about that. $500. How the hell do you not know you're flushing the toilets going into the basement?
Oh,
Come
it takes
on,
all kinds. It takes all
right?
kinds. Oh
Good
my god.
God. All right. And then they go on. Oh, it gets better, Jen. We have differential settling, and the house needs to be jacked up on one side and have gutters installed. $5,000. The chimney is cracked and needs to be demoed with a new liner. $4,000. None of the appliances work properly. The buttons on the oven don't work, and two burners don't work. The freezer won't open all the way, and the fridge had mold in it when we moved in. The washer and dryer were broken and had to be replaced as soon as we moved in. $5,000. Our entire attic is covered in mold due to the bathroom vent not venting outside. However, that was recently fixed and routed outside, so the seller knew about the mold. There's also mold under the upstairs bathroom due to the toilet leaking. There was clear water damage where it was pooling, so there's no way she didn't know. $5,000 for the mold remediation. We have a major mouse problem. We found mouse traps when we moved in, yet the seller checked no on the disclosures for pest. Still haven't gotten this taken care of, but estimating a few hundred for pest removal. I'm sure we will continue to under stop. Are you done? So the
This
last,
sounds like a MasterCard commercial,
it
right?
is.
And,
It
and the next
does.
thing you're gonna say is the cost of actually taking a second and like hiring a real estate agent. priceless.
Priceless. No, the cost of getting an inspection, priceless. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yes, the cost of an
what
inspection, priceless.
inspection, priceless. What the
Oh,
heck?
continue. This is just
So,
ridiculous.
no, well, that was the end of it. She said, I'm sure we'll
So-
continue to uncover other things that she hid, but we've only been in the house 3 months. 3 months, and they discovered 14, 16, upwards of $20,000 worth of stuff that needs to be done.
This is
So,
that Michael Keaton
yeah.
movie, Money Pit. That's
No,
what this
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Yes, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Good golly.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So,
So what's his question? What's the purpose of him airing his dirty laundry?
because he's pissed off at himself that he didn't get a home inspection.
He's putting
Like,
it on Reddit. I feel like I
dude,
would do that to myself, dude. Like I would be so
like,
embarrassed and so mad. Like, is he looking for some like retribution or like make himself feel better by announcing to the world how much of an idiot it
to
is?
put it out on Reddit? Yeah. Because this is where everybody airs their dirty laundry, Jen. Where the hell have you been? Come on. Like, this is what,
Really? Oh God.
like, Jen, what the hell?
Good
What?
God.
But again, and he bought a FISBO for a sale by owner.
As
So,
soon as you said that, that was like red flag right there. It was red flag right there.
right? But what if you're gonna listen? Everybody listening to this, the 3 people that listen to our podcast, thank you very much. But listen, if you're gonna buy for sale by owner, you can bring a real estate agent in with you, and you can ask the seller if they're willing to pay their commission. If not, you might have to come up with some money, but bring an expert in with you that has the connections to a home inspector to do all the things.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why would you do that? I know you want to make your offer to look attractive, but really?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. A FISBO, for sale by owner, a home seller
Mhm.
selling their home, right?
Yep.
There's no legal liability with any of this stuff.
No.
But if you're working with, if they hire a real estate agent, now there's legal liability for disclosure, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's like warning flag. You can buy a for sale by owner, 100%. But
Yeah.
just know there are, it's like wild, wild west because there's,
Yep.
yes, do agents lie? Yes,
Yep.
100%. Why we talk about this all the time. However, is there potential big time legal issues if this kind of stuff, doesn't get disclosed? A lot of these things don't get disclosed. There is at least some sort of protection, right, for that, because there's
Mm.
and anytime there's an agent involved on either side of the transaction, there's a layer
Yep.
of legal protection for the people involved. So you take that out of the mix, now you're left to your own devices. Never mind all the bad decisions or the bad decisions or the decisions that you didn't even know you need to make, right?
Mhm.
On things, inspections that you
Yep.
probably should have had that you didn't, home inspection. Do you need a sewer inspection? Does it have a well? Should it have a well inspection? Does it have a basement? Do you need a radon inspection?
Mhm.
But shame on him. And yeah, talk about making your bed and having to lie in it.
It blows my mind. Like, I understand they come on here to vent and share their experiences, but
It's just sad.
like it's sad. It's very sad. And listen, as we go into 2025, and you and I have been talking about this, we really feel that the housing market is going to pick up again, big
Yep.
time next year.
Yep.
Right? Buyers are going to come out of the woodwork again. It's going to be a frenzy. It's going to be bidding wars. It's going to be all the things. Do not waive that inspection.
No.
I don't care how competitive it is and how bad you want the house. Do not waive that damn inspection. We've read how many stories on this podcast. I have heard stories of people like waiving that. Like, don't do that. Oh, we got to stop. We got to stop it.
That's no joke. That is no joke what you're saying about the market, because with now that the election is behind us, and regardless of who you voted for, it is, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a known fact, but a track record, I guess, that if a Republican is elected, typically the market surges. The stock market surged big time yesterday. Okay. The Fed has already announced, I was reading it yesterday, they're poising The anticipation is they're going to cut rates,
They
right?
are.
Which is not in direct connection to the mortgage rate, but it will affect the bond market, which is a reflection, which is connected to the mortgage rate. So you've got
Yes.
a situation where there's going to be more cash flooding into the market. Okay, people will be able to cash out on their 401ks because the market's going to go up, stock market's going to go up. You have the interest rates coming down, and people are going to start putting their houses on the market. Why? Because they can suddenly afford to move a lot more
Yes.
so than 2 months ago because they have more cash and they can
Mhm.
maybe take a hit on that rate in exchange for getting out of the house that they've been locked into. So now you've got a piece of inventory that's open and buyers that are like, it's like putting you know, throwing a piece of food into a pond of piranhas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buyers are just
Yep.
flood. That stuff, we're going to see that in early spring market, end
Mm.
of like if come February. The other metric too, Jackie, that I'll mention is you and I both have, because we're so passionate about, we want to connect people to these 20% agents. Both you and I both get referral requests from folks.
Yep.
Um, and the number of people that have reached out to me has significantly increased going
Mm-hmm.
into
Same.
October, November, which means those people and all of them are all getting ready for the spring market.
Yes, they are.
Sellers and buyers. Sellers and buyers.
Yes.
So this is no joke when we say, "Oh, the market's going to surge." Like we're not just like real estate. Oh, market's gonna surge because it always did in the spring. Because that's what we're
Yeah.
told to say. The real estate people that tell us that trainers that tell us that tell your clients the market's gonna surge. No,
No.
that's not what we
No,
do.
we're not doing that. We're not
No,
doing that. We're living this right
you and
now.
I were both like probably major troublemakers in our youth probably, and total like
No.
rebellious. I was
No.
just like, you're not telling me anything. I'm gonna make my own decisions, and I'm not, and I have no filter. So it's almost like I can't lie. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but but
Oh
this
my
but it's
God.
true. All the indicators. I mean, that's what we do as professionals. This is what we do. Breathe. We're in
Mm-hmm.
it all day long. Our What we do is we look for all the indicators, and
Yes.
when this stuff kicks in, there's a lot of people moving down. We're talking to our friend Angie. Little shout out to Angie from
Ooh,
Austin.
ooh,
Little
Angie.
shout out. She's
Love
down in the Austin
Angie.
area. In Austin, the prices have gone down, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people are like looking at that as opportunity. So
Yes.
she's getting really busy. So it's already
Yep.
starting.
Yes.
So it's coming. Please, please, please do not be tempted. And yes, you may lose the house.
Mm-hmm.
May lose the house to somebody that does waive a home inspection. Yes. But you know
That's
what?
okay.
It's okay. There's always another
It's
house. It's just a
exactly
yes, it will be your home, but it's not your home until you actually move in. It's a
right.
house that can be replaced with another house, and it may take you longer, and it may be heartache, and it may be hard to just wait, depending on your
Mm-hmm.
circumstances. But rather, like this story, rather wait, be inconvenienced on your timeline than be in a situation where you're spending tens of thousands of dollars because you rushed into
Mm-hmm.
something you shouldn't have bought.
Exactly. Yep. So, okay. That's the lesson of the day. Don't waive the inspection. Everybody get ready. Get ready for this next. I love that. It just brings me back every time you play that. Like just
I
brings me
see it
back to
on
my youth.
TV, on the big tube TV, sitting on the floor.
Yep.
See it as a kid. Well,
Yes. Yes. I do
right?
too. Every
I
time you
remember
play
seeing
that.
it. Yep.
Love that. Go walking down memory lane. I love it. Love it. Love it. So Jen, this is what I got. And I think we had some good stuff today.
Gonna do the Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
There's the thing with the notepad, and
Yes.
there you
Just
go.
scratch it off. There you go.
Scratch it off. Well, I think
No,
there's
I
some
hope
good lessons here. I think
there were some
we
lessons here. I think we had some. I think we gave some good lessons here for people. I
I think
hope.
it's chock
Yeah.
full for the picking. All kinds of
Yes.
good stuff. So,
Because
well,
that's
thanks
what we're here
for,
for.
yeah, I think you did a good job with this stuff. And,
Thank you.
you know
Thanks.
what? A little shout out to our 2 or 3 listeners that are that have made it this far into the podcast. We appreciate you so much.
Thank
We
you.
really, from the bottom of our heart, we really
Yes.
appreciate you.
Oh my God.
I need to write down our listeners, the people that comment on our YouTube podcast channel. If you're listening to this on the podcast network, we have the good old YouTubes where you can actually, if you want to look at our mugs, you can do that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, all this stuff's on the podcast, all the major podcast networks. So,
yes, good
anyhow,
stuff.
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Jen.
Be good. Be nice.
too.
Be patient. Be patient right now more than ever. Be nice to people. If you see a sticker on somebody's car and it is not the person you voted for, don't automatically assume that that person is the enemy, that they're a jerk, that they're whatever. You have no idea who they are. You don't know their path. You don't know their story. You don't know what they're up against because everybody's got stuff.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you,
Seek
Jen.
to understand. And on that note, have a great week. And we'll talk to y'all soon for some more disasters. See ya.
See ya.